Yes, people, this is the Take On with me, Danny Murphy, and Anton Ferdinand. We haven't got Flex this week. Don't know where he is. He's done a run. He's gone missing, probably because United aren't signing Kane. We don't know, but we'll find out next week. We're going to start with Man U, actually. Yeah. Harry Kane situation. I'm surprised that they've pulled out of the running, apparently. He is the obvious choice. I know there's other good strikers around, but are you surprised by that?
Yeah, I am. I think if you're going to go for Harry Kane, and off the back of the season that Tottenham had, and all the whispers that are coming out of Spurs, I think now you've got to go and be forceful with it and go and try and get him out now.
Well, especially I think as he fits the build on it. You know 100%. What you're getting. You know what you're getting. Goals, 100%. goals. And there is rumours about the fact Daniel Levy won't let him go there, but my worry for Harry Kane is if it's not United, who's it going to be?
Exactly. And I think the only place that he can go, if it ain't United, is Real Madrid. It's the only place that he can go. I don't see him going Chelsea.
Nah.
The reason why I don't see him going Chelsea is because of the rivalry between Tottenham and Chelsea. And right now, he's got the power in terms of the fans. Don't mind seeing him go. But if you ask any Tottenham fan, if it was to Chelsea, would it hinder his legacy? They'd all say yes.
Do you think?
And I think that's why I don't see him in a Chelsea shirt. Yeah,
it's going to be an interesting one. I think United. Look, we want your takes on this as well. But there's an interesting debate about Rashford as well. Not his quality in his season. I think he's been amazing. But if he does sign this new contract where he's the best paid player ever, at what, nearly talking 375 they're talking about.
Does he play through the middle?
Well, does he play through the middle? And also, I was going to say, does this now, if you look at the knock-on, if you're trying to sign players and you're giving Rashford that, all of a sudden they've set the bar here.
Exactly.
And there was talk that United, in terms of the takeover, hasn't happened yet. They're trying to keep their wage budget or their structure in a certain place. Would you give him that, is what I'm asking. Are they in a position where they've got no choice but to give him what he wants?
I think they are in a position where they've got to give him what he wants. But the simple fact that Neymar could be going from PSG.
Yeah.
Messi's gone. There's talk of maybe Mbappe going. So Man United ain't in a position, and they like Rashford, PSG.
Well, he's a local. Yeah, true. Yeah.
So they're going to have to give him what he wants. Otherwise, that could be his potential next move.
Mm.
And
his contract's running down.
And he's exactly. So, and you're going to get serious money for him. And I think for me personally, in terms of looking at Manchester United, I'm disappointed they ain't tried to do their work early. Yeah. I understand with the takeover and everything going through, but surely that should be talks. That should be incorporated in talks that they're having.
You'd think. I mean, I know for a fact that they have bid on Mason Mount. It's just below the 50 mark, or I think maybe add-ons 40, 45, and then add-ons up to 50. And Chelsea are trying to stand firm on 70 when he's got a year left on his contract. In fact, he is 6 months away from being able to sign a pre-contract to go anywhere abroad.
Yeah.
So I find it strange how Chelsea think someone's going to pay 7. Although I like Mason Mount, by the way. I think he's a quality player. I think he'll get done, is what I'm hearing. Where do you see him in the United side?
I see him playing as an 8. I don't see him further. I think you got
next to Casemiro with it.
Next to Casemiro, I think Bruno will play higher.
Yeah,
I think because that's where he's at his best, and he don't have to work as hard in terms of in the defensive side of the game. Christian Eriksen, who's a fantastic player, can't play every game.
No,
and I think
I'd have Mount ahead of Eriksen.
Yeah, I'd have Mount ahead of him. But I'm just saying that. Then they've got a good rivalry within that.
Yeah, good competition.
A good competition in that number 8 spot.
I actually, and you United fans, you tell us, because I actually really like McTominay, and I'm not saying to play every week, but losing that energy and that physicality because you need a squad to compete. Champions League, Premier League. This thing about best 11, I think we get obsessed by it. I like him, and I know there's other teams after him, but
I'll take him at West Ham.
Oh, all day.
All day long, I'll take him at West Ham.
All day.
But what I was going to say about the Man United not doing their business early is allowing their second choice, third choice striker to be on the radar of other teams.
Yeah.
Victor, Osimhen. There's talk of him going PSG now.
Yeah.
You know, there's talk of him going other places. If you get in there for Kane early, you put up the money,
Get it done.
properly, get it done. If it don't, you then move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Because Man United, although they're still a massive club, they don't have that pull that they used to have.
No, it's dwindling a bit.
You know, it's starting to dwindle.
But they are back in the Champions League.
They are,
so-
and it helps.
yeah.
It helps that they're back in the Champions League. But you know, before normally when Man United were going off a player, you knew it was definitely done.
Done, yeah.
It was done.
Always.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas now they don't have that power.
No.
So they need to be like others and go and try and get their business done early. Because if it comes up to, you don't know what players think nowadays.
Well, we're still only in June.
Of course,
And
but
contracts finish, what, July the 1st, I think, don't they? It's funny you say that because I understand what you're talking about, letting in competitors and people jumping in and all that. Because if we move to Arsenal and the Declan Rice, which is the obvious one to talk about, I'm assuming most Arsenal fans would love to see Declan Rice there. But I think you don't want to be going in straight away with the amount because that's not how negotiations are done. We all get it. That's like buying a house, isn't it?
of course.
But they do need to get this one over the line because if someone like City do come in late, and my understanding of the situation is that they haven't put an official bid in yet,
No,
but there is a
they're monitoring it.
Yeah.
They're monitoring.
If they just leave it, they might miss out. And then you've got apparently, which we were just talking about off air, which would be interested to the Arsenal fans. This has come up in the last week. Thomas Partey. Do you think they'll only let Partey go if they get Rice? Because all of a sudden, Partey now must be thinking, hold on, there's talk of me leaving. They can't want me.
No, I honestly think that they're bringing Rice in to play with Partey
Right.
because they'll put Rice in the 8 role
Yeah.
and Partey will play in the 6. But if there's talk of Partey going, there has to be a situation where Arsenal must be looking at they're going to get Caicedo
As well.
and Rice. Because if you're letting Partey go,
You're going to get Arsenal fans excited. Yeah.
no, but they have to. You can't bring in Declan Rice. Hypothetically, I'm going to say you can't say that he's
You've got
coming in.
Jorginho as well.
Okay, but to go and win the league, you need more than Jorginho, I think.
Well, I spoke to an Arsenal fan this morning, funnily enough. I don't know him, he was on a phone in, and somebody suggested that the signing of Kai Havertz, which is nearly done over the line apparently, 60, 65 million, who are like and talented, because of Arteta's relationship and guidance under Pep, and Man City's dominance of generally playing one holding player and 2 8s, if you like, that Arteta wants to go that way where he's playing one holding player. And instead of it being Xhaka, who's obviously off in that position, you have Havertz and Odegaard. So 2 8s, 2 10s, whichever way.
Yeah.
Because against teams, especially at home where they dominate the ball, they only need one holding player. Would you... I know you need squad. I know he can play in other positions. I'm not sure Arsenal are at that point yet where they can just play one holding player
No.
and 2 attacking players behind the striker.
I don't think they're at that level yet.
No.
We're talking about a Pep team that controls large amounts of the ball. Arsenal do against lesser teams, they do. But against the bigger teams, it's not always that plain sailing.
So do you think that Havertz is probably one of those signings where he's looking at him going, I can improve him, he can play in 3 or 4 different positions and we need strength and depth?
Exactly. And when we do get to that position where we're going to play with 2 8s or 2 10s, I've still got him.
Yeah.
So and like you said off air, Murph, I think what is a fantastic point is that Odegaard, it's going to be hard for Odegaard to have another season like he did last year in terms of playing all them games and not getting niggles, not getting little injuries. So you need depth within your squad with quality.
You do. And I'd be really interested because I think this is like, there's no right and wrong to this with the Arsenal debate because they're trying to improve. But if they go all out, let's say they do decide Partey can go and they do try and go all in on Rice and Caicedo, a lot of Arsenal fans I've heard are actually talking more about they want a striker, even though they've got Jesus and Nketiah.
I think they need a 9.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
But then you're not going to get one better than Jesus unless it's 80, 90 million quid, are you?
Of course, but I just think this is where they put themselves though. By getting so close to winning the league, this is where they put the club want to be there. Arteta wants to be there. Edu wants to be in these situations. They've now got into them situations because they got so close. The fan base expectations are through the roof now. They're back to what it was previously. So they have to start doing these type of things. It don't mean it's going to happen, but they're going to be thinking like it. And I think Jesus is a fantastic 9. I think he's a fantastic player. But you want somebody who's going to get you 20 goals a season. I'm not sure if he's that guy.
No. Well, it's going to be interesting. Be interested to see your take on the Arsenal situation. Would you prefer both midfielders or plough their money into Declan Rice and a striker? I can't see them going Rice, Caicedo and a striker. I think that'll be, you're talking then over 200 million quid, which is probably above where they what they're going to spend. Moving on to your boys. Obviously, West Ham are going to come into the conversation because Declan, it will get done. I mean, the owners said more or less that they'll make a deal at some point. Then you got to think about how you replace him. I know we mentioned Phillips on the last show, which would be more obvious if they were doing a deal with Man City, of course. But there has been talk, and I don't like this talk, about Palhinha. Now, I saw Palhinha. I did a piece on him when I did a game a couple of years ago before Portugal, and I was watching a bit of their footage, and I saw this lad. And when he went to Fulham for 20 million quid, I did a couple of shows, and I mentioned the fact that this was a steal. And it's nice to get something right when you're doing your commentary. Yeah. But he's been Fulham's best player this season, and obviously, I mean, he's on decent money, but not prolific. And I don't know about any clauses in his contract, but there is a link with West Ham.
He's a good player. I like his energy. I like that he's a player who knows his role.
He does.
He knows his role and he does it.
Yeah.
You know, you get some midfielders who want to be a bit of everything. He knows his role and he does it, which I think will be fantastic for us at West Ham.
It is an interesting one. I mean, we all have places where we feel at home and we enjoy our football. But would he feel like he deserves an opportunity of even more? I know West Ham are in Europa League, which is a big deal because people want to play, European football. Would he be thinking, it's not, I understand West Ham's got a bigger support than Fulham. I get all that. But would he be wanting a bit more, do you think, after his season?
I think he's only had one season. So to think that he wants a bit more, when we're talking a bit more, it's unrealistic. Yeah. And when you're talking a bit more, you're talking top 4, top 6. Yeah. Other than West Ham, in my opinion. But you're going to go to a place where 60,000 every week. And if you do well, the love that you get from the fans, I've never seen it anywhere else. I've never felt it anywhere else, and that's what makes West Ham very, very special. And I think him coming and doing the job and doing what he's done at Fulham this year and bringing that into West Ham, if it was to happen.
I think he'd be a better signing for West Ham than Phillips.
You think?
In that role.
Why do you think that?
Because I think he's more dynamic, more moisey, more aggressive.
Yeah.
Phillips is more. Phillips can be aggressive, but he's a footballer.
Yeah, he's technical.
Yeah, and when you got good possession of the ball, he's good. But West Ham generally play more without the ball.
Yeah.
And he is as good as there is without the ball. And the stats show that. Mm-hmm. I think that suits West Ham more, if I'm being honest. But then it brings us to, if you get 100+ million for Declan, do you need 2 to replace 1?
100%.
So would Conor Gallagher be a bet? Do you like Conor?
I like Conor. I like his energy. I think he's good on the ball. What he done at Crystal Palace, playing in that 8 role, he played really, really well.
He did.
I think I'd take Ward-Prowse over him now.
Would you?
I think I would.
That's a big shout.
I think Ward-Prowse gives us a little bit more in terms of obviously his delivery, free kick specialist,
especially when he's set play.
Exactly. With the manager that we've got, I think Ward-Prowse will be a better fit. I'm not disregarding Conor Gallagher because I think he's fantastic and has done really well in his short career. But I think for us and the way that we play the game, I think Ward-Prowse will be more beneficial to us. And let's not forget the players that we've already got there. Paqueta, who the last 3 months of the season, 3 months of the season in the Europa Conference League, he was a joke.
It's good, yeah.
Like, unbelievable. Like, someone that I looked upon at first and thinking, have we made a mistake here? And then you start to look into him a bit more and you realise he actually plays in the 8 for Brazil.
He does.
Not the 10. Then he started to get to grips with the physicality of the Premier League and English football, and he's coming to his own.
Well, the other thing with Paqueta, and you've seen West Ham more than me, but I did a couple of games early in the season where he had a couple of games, I think one of them might have been Fulham, and him and Scamacca, who's being linked away from West Ham, actually had a really good link-up. Now, if West Ham are to evolve and play a bit more football on the front foot, is Scamacca someone you would keep, or time to let go and change? Do
you know what? It's an hard one for me, and the reason why I'm saying, because when I was early on in the season, I'd done West Ham's first European game this last season for BT, and Declan didn't play, and neither did Aaron Cresswell playing that game. And I saw them, and I asked them, I was like, "What's Scamacca like before the game?" And both of them said, "Unbelievable."
Really?
Like, the way he strikes a ball, I've never seen anything like it. He's moved, and he's got a bit about him. He knows he's good. So when players are telling you that, it's like, maybe and you see what you've seen this year. You've seen glimpses of it. Like, in that game, his movement, when the ball's wide, his movement's fantastic. He's good in the air. You know, the problem that West Ham fans have is, without the ball, does he work hard enough? You know, and that's just a West Ham trait. That's, to be fair, every club. If you got to work hard.
Well, Antonio touched on it, didn't he, when he did that podcast, and he left a bit on him in that. That's not fair. But he was saying more about the way Moisey wants to play doesn't suit him.
Yeah, but I think sometimes it might take that year, this first year.
Yeah, true.
And so he's in London, he's in the Premier League. He might come back and go, and he had an injury, didn't he? Let the last part of the season, which is why I wasn't involved. He might come back with a different mentality this time and come and understand, okay, I've got to work hard. But they're the conversations I'd like to think will be happening inside West Ham. Okay, we want you, but this is what it is, because Moyes has invested in him.
Giving up easy.
Exactly. I think keeping him and trying to get a tune out of him, you know, in the first couple of weeks of pre-season, if he's coming back a different player or not.
Yeah.
You know. I'd at least give him that.
I think Moisey wants to move them forward as well.
100%.
I don't think he wants to keep playing that way. He's not daft. He's an intelligent guy.
No.
You know, he went back to it a little bit because of the fact that some of them were struggling. They had some injuries. And I think now they're in Europe, he's also got the capability of attracting a bit better.
Definitely. And I think I was a big critic in terms of him buying players that don't sit his mould and they don't fit his mould and the way he plays, you know. But he's bought them, he's transformed them, because to win a Conference League with the players that he's bought, you know, he transformed them into a team that how he likes to play.
Yeah.
But if he continues to buy flair players rather than players that he's used to buying, then that tells you he's evolving. He's trying to go in a different direction.
Well, I thought he wanted to do that early in the season. Moving on, because I think this is a really interesting one. And I'll give you my take on it after I've heard yours. And we obviously want your takes on this, because I think James Maddison's a super talent, right?
Yeah.
Leicester have gone down. He's going to have to go. He can't play in the Champions.
Are you going to correct your saying that you said earlier?
No,
Are you going to back it?
Yeah, okay. I'll back that up. Maddison is as creative as they come. I mean, he can change games.
Yeah.
His free kicks, his passing, he takes risks. I love that about him. When you've got the ball, he's brilliant. Maybe a little question mark without. But there is talk of either Spurs or Newcastle. Do you see him being a success if either of those moves were to happen?
I think because he's such a flair player, and you know what it's like, when you're playing at a team and a flair player comes in, they might get a little bit more time. You know, from the fans, from the football club.
Yeah.
I don't see where he fits in Newcastle, if I'm being honest. I don't see where.
Well, the only thing, the way Eddie's played, dynamic, 4-3-3, right? High press. The only place I could see him playing there is wide. He won't want to play wide.
No. And then you got Tottenham. Tottenham's so up in the air.
Yeah.
And is it the right place to go at the moment?
The only thing with Tottenham, they love flair players, the fans.
Yeah, they do.
And if they're going to change the way they've been playing, you could build a team around him. But I think it would depend a little bit. And I mean, you could play him behind Kane. If Kane was to go and then they change the system, you could play him as a 10 with two holding players, however Postecoglou wants to play. But I see him more in a Spurs shirt than a Newcastle shirt.
Yeah, I do. No, I don't know if any of them are the right moves for him personally as a player, but I see him in more of a Spurs shirt than a Newcastle shirt, 100%. For the simple fact that you said, the way Eddie likes to play, does he fit that remit? And I don't think he does.
Well, I think the reason the big boys aren't in is because if you think about, I use this comparison a lot because Bernardo Silva, you would talk about, if I said to you Bernardo Silva, you'd say, great skill, technique, can score a goal, he can beat people. But his work ethic and winning the ball back and tracking runners and doing the right thing for his team has never been in doubt.
Never.
Mane was another one. I can start naming them from City. Even Mahrez turned into someone who runs back. Grealish, do you see him doing it now?
Yep.
Foden works his nuts off. Liverpool players, generally, Salah's probably the only one who maybe on occasion gets away with it. But generally, the top teams of the last few years, and even Arsenal this season, their work ethic, by the way, started by Jesus. Maybe Klopp and Guardiola would be pulled back from someone like Maddison.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And that was probably one of Grealish's problems in his first season was two aspects. He was used to everything going through him at Villa and him being a ball carrier he had to run off the ball to create spaces for other players, but you will get the ball eventually. But also, in my team, you work back and you get into shape and you graft. Like there's no superstars in this team, everyone works. And I think that's credit to the managers, the players you've mentioned, like Liverpool, Man City, their managers buy players that fit their remit. So Klopp ain't buying a player who can't run.
No, but you know what they also do is they seem to make even players who are really good better.
Yeah.
I mean, I've looked at some stats when he first went there from when David Silva was there. His numbers went through the roof under Pep without the ball.
What a player.
Yeah, but without the ball I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Bernardo's numbers have gone up since Pep went.
Mahrez is a fantastic showcase as well for that. When he's at Leicester, he weren't a workhorse.
No, but do you know what? The difference is at the big teams is that if you don't do it, you don't play.
Yeah.
And Klopp and Guardiola, they demand that. I think it's going to look, there's so many fascinating transfers. Give us your takes on any of these because there's going to be some that surprise us. There's going to be things that shock us. There's going to be players moving that we don't even know yet. The one thing I've been surprised about, is being disappointed with, and this is quite, I mean, it's a subject that's going to keep rolling now because of the Saudi money. Players at the end of careers obviously going there, but the Ruben Neves one, he's 26. Got a year left on his contract. He's been linked. I know he wanted to go Barca, didn't quite happen. Been linked with Man Utd in the past, with Tottenham, with whoever. Really good footballer. He's 26 and he's decided to go to Saudi. Now, I find this really strange and I can only relate it to me. Because when I was 25, 26, I honestly was football mad. Like all I wanted to do, how do I get better and how do I stay in this Liverpool team? How do I get in the England team? How do I make my career more memorable and have more of a legacy? How do I do more? Not dough.
Yeah. No, I get it. My only thing is that Saudi, the money that they're putting into their league, they want to become competitive.
Yeah.
And if you watch whatever they're doing now, they're becoming competitive in most things they're involved in.
Oh, yeah.
From what I read and what I see and what I know. If you was to speak to Ronaldo, I'm guarantee he will say, the league's not easy.
No, it's
hard.
not that I'm saying it's easy. I'll tell you what it is. Man.
I know what you're saying about the monetary value. I just think that, one, you don't know what's being said. He might be part of an evolution. That's excited him. You know, I get what you're saying about you want to be the best. No, but you don't know what he's being told he's going to be a part of because they are trying to. You can.
Yeah, but let me give you a different scenario, and I know where you're coming from. He's been sold a project. and he's securing generational wealth for his family, right?
Which now I look back, I know what you're saying. At 25,
no, I look back. I know what you're going to say.
Yourself, but now you look at it and you go, if I can secure generational wealth for my family, am I or am I not doing it?
But I think with especially he's got Mendes as agent, he's got this option of Saudi in 12 months. Even if he does another year and he's a free agent, someone in Saudi will take him all day. They've had to pay 55 million for him, so. Next summer, when he's a free agent at 26, the options he's going to have to maybe go to a team where he can win the Premier League, win the Champions League, win La Liga. I'm just surprised because it's the first one. Maybe nothing personal to him. It's just because it's the first player we've had who's mid-20s, who's been tempted by the money. I think it was Oscar left.
Oscar left.
And I just think that there's a balance for everyone. Everyone's got different priorities. But I was surprised. And it is fascinating to see how this is going to play out.
100%. But I think you can't knock somebody for wanting to secure their financial future for
I think
generations. He would anyway. Maybe so. But now he's guaranteeing it. Whether he gets injured or not, he's guaranteed it.
True.
We know it's football. You don't know what happens in football. You can get injured tomorrow. He's guaranteed that now. For the future of his family, for generations, he's guaranteed it.
So you think we'll see more of it?
It depends on the person. It depends on the person. I just don't think we should be too quick to chastise or
overly critical.
Be overly critical to players who are looking at it, because if any one of us are in that position and we're being told something and we've got the power to go and secure generational wealth, who are we to say they're stupid for doing that?
Well, I hear you, and it's hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Of course, it is.
We go back, we probably make.
I had it with no way on that level. Steve Bruce was telling me I had to go to Dnipro in Ukraine because they were offering me stupid money, tax free, and I was like, no, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm in the best league in the world. I'm 24, 25. I'm not leaving. Even when he said to me, Anton, as long as I'm at this football club, you will never sign another contract at this football club. And I was in my last year, by the way. This is a week before I went to QPR. Yeah. Hindsight's a beautiful thing. If I'm there again, knowing what I know now, I'm gone.
I played there in Dnipro.
I'm gone.
We played a European game now, going off subject here, but it's quite a good story. We played there. Good side, actually. We had a good game against them. Some good players. Stadium was full. Atmosphere was amazing. And one of our lads, I can't think who it was now, knew one of their lads, and they were chatting. And the two lads who they were talking to, one of them was a Ukrainian, the other one was, I think he was a Nigerian boy. One was on 80 grand, and the other was 100.
Yep. Net.
I'd never even heard of them. I was like, oh my days. So actually, it's fascinating. We'll have a quick chat on this, because is there any, well, you've just had one there, but is there any other transfers that you look back on? So my one that I wish I'd have made happen and pushed a bit harder. I'd left Liverpool reluctantly and I was gutted, and I'd gone to Charlton, and maybe the ego had kicked in, wanted to be big fish, little pond, had a good contract. And about a year in, my old manager, Gerard Houllier, was at Lyon in France. And he phoned me up to see if I wanted to go. And I was like, yeah, love to go. Like, Lyon were Champions League team. Stadium was always full. They had some good players. The lad who was smashing those Janino, those free kicks and all that. And I just thought, you know what? I did a bit of French in school. I'll pick that up quick. And so I've got to try and make it happen gently, because, I didn't want to call. I wasn't that type. And Charlton were like, nah, we've just spent this and you've signed it. And when you've agreed to something and you feel some sense of loyalty. Yeah. And when I look back now, I just say, I should have caused murders. I should have
done what Scott Parker done to get out.
Yeah, that was years before. Yeah. But what, these experiences you look back on, and the thing is, you have to make these choices when you're in a young age, an impressionable age, and we
you know as well, people think you got a load of time to think about it. You haven't. People
a day, 2 days.
Exactly. People actually think these conversations happen for weeks. They don't. Very rare, like a a transfer happens over a few month period.
No.
It don't happen.
No.
It goes bang. We're putting this in. Yes, we accept. What you want to do? Now it's a little bit different. But when we were playing, it wasn't like that. No. You had days to make decisions, and some of that was uprooting your family. You know, so it was hard. It was very hard. But yeah, I had not to do with money, but like crazy. The day that I signed for QPR was the last day of the window, and I was waiting to go because they was trying to sign a few of us. There was me, Sean Wright-Phillips, Jason Punchant, and a couple of others. This wasn't on in Wingy. That was the following year. Yeah. But we was like. Everyone was waiting to get into the medical, to get into the machine, MRI machine and everything. So, you know, you're in there for like 2 hours or whatever. Get all of that done. Going back to Loftus Road, the other two went before me. Wright-Phillips and Punchant went before me. Then I got mine done and I'm going back with the physio back to Loftus Road, and we come up the flyover and it's chock-a-block. Like chock-a-block. And I'm talking, I've got like an hour
to get the paperwork done.
To get the paperwork done and everything. The physio had to reverse down, like move people out of the way, reverse down the flyover to go another way. We just made it to the point where when I went in, they were finishing, they were halfway through Jason Punchant's. They stopped his one to do mine because they needed a defender. Luckily, both of us got through, but the panic, because obviously I just told you the story about Steve Bruce. If this don't go through, I'm going back to Steve Bruce. I might not play, and why is at the football club I'll never get a contract again? So all this was playing in my mind at the time, and I was like, "Come on, man, you got to get me back."
People don't see that.
It was like the panic and the sweats that I had were a joke. Like seriously, it was a joke.
I had it at Fulham. I'd signed the paperwork, left there about 10 to 12. When I joined Fulham from Tottenham, and I've left the Fulham training ground 5 minutes away, and there's a phone call 3 or 4 minutes away, and get a phone call. We signed the wrong bit of paper, so we had to spin it, and we got there like a minute to 12 and signed it, and they sent it through. But yeah, it's crazy. Right, we're going to finish on. We haven't done Chelsea. I think we need a quick chat on Chelsea.
No problem.
They're obviously losing a lot of players, trimming the squad, which I think most of the fans want. Players off to Saudi. Koulibaly, Mendy, possibly. Kante's gone. Ziyech, I think. Although I think that's the right thing to do, we are still looking at now. Kovacic, we haven't mentioned, gone to City. I think that's a good signing, 30 million. Like Kovacic, good player.
Yeah, very good player.
So when you look at the Chelsea squad now, and you're looking at the middle of the park, or even at the back, with the players they've got leaving, or throughout the spine of the team. I'm not sure this kind of. I think they'll play better football, but I'm not sure they're as strong yet. Anyway, we'll see what they'll do. But what do you think they're going to need to bring in, or do you think he's going to work with what they've got?
I've got a feeling he's going to try and work with what they got, but I think they need players.
Where?
I think they need a centre back.
So you got at the minute you got Barry Shield, left foot, decent, young, but young.
Yeah.
Thiago Silva's still there.
Yeah. Fofana.
So you'd like to see one more with those three?
I think they need someone who's proven in the Premier League, other than.
So Poch generally plays a 4.
Yeah, I think you need one more.
You wouldn't play Fofana and Thiago?
Thiago gets injured. He's getting older. He gets injured. Fofana ain't been the same since his injury.
No, that's true.
You know, I think, and
even the fullbacks don't stay fit.
Exactly. So I think they need another centre back, in my opinion. Who they go and get, I don't know.
Well, Guardiola had the Croatian centre back. I know that Poch loves him. I was talking to him about him in Qatar. I was fortunate enough to spend time with Poch, and Guardiola I think is a really good player. But I know City like him as well.
Yeah.
So. But do you know where I worry for Chelsea? Not even in forward positions. They've got lots of options. I know people say they need a striker, whether they bring Lukaku back, whether they bring in their own striker. I mean,
Lukaku don't go back there.
No, but they've signed in Cuckoo, who he's not an out-and-out 9, but he gets goals.
Yeah.
They've lost Kante and Kovacic, right?
By name midfielders.
Yeah.
Yeah. But who do they go and get?
That's what I'm asking you. There's going to be some money spent, but I don't think, unless Chelsea make 2 or 3 really experienced, and I'm with you on this, signings, been there, done it, I don't see them getting back in the top 4.
I think it's going to be a hard season. I think they're 100%. They need experience. They need Premier League experience. That don't mean age. There's players that have played a lot of games in the Premier League that are young, you know. Or do they stick with Conor Gallagher?
I don't think so.
Do you know what I mean? He's Poch type of player. Energy.
He is.
Energetic. Good on the ball.
Maybe.
Do you know what I mean? But I think they're going to need to go and buy someone. Enzo's still got to come and prove his worth this year. He's had his bedding time period.
Well, apparently he wants to be more of an attacking player, not a holding player. That's what I'm hearing. So that means they'll need a holding player. But when you look at him for 100 million, Declan Rice, I'm thinking Declan.
Of course, but I just think I want to be an attacking player. I don't want to be more
Chelsea
of an attacking
could fly
player.
in late minute for Declan.
They could, and I hope that don't happen. I have to be honest.
But he's a Chelsea boy, isn't he?
Yeah, but that's one. I'm going to speak for the West Ham fans. I don't normally do it, but I'm going to speak for the West Ham fans.
Well, I'd like to hear. I'd like to hear.
Not allowed in.
I'd like to hear from Chelsea fans whether they'd be happy going back to the original one to see Kane come through the door. I don't think they'd care, would they? They'd love Kane through the door.
Yeah, they'd love Kane through the door. Whether that happens, I can't see it.
No.
What do you think? If there's going to be any surprise transfers this year, who do you think will be a surprise transfer this year?
I think we could see someone like Neymar end up in the Prem.
You think?
I just think some people get desperate. People want to put bums on seats and want to entertain and attack, and just maybe even if it was a loan or something. I think he's got there's a twist left in his tail yet. But I don't know. There's so many options. I think United are going to come. I don't think United will sit back for too much longer on their hands. They need to be one of the biggest clubs in the world. They can't get somebody in who nobody's heard of. They can't take a risk.
Of course.
They want to be competitive. But let's hear your takes. These are the transfers we've been talking about. Of course, we want to hear your opinions. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Let us know. Let us know if we've talked any nonsense and any bad takes as well. And we'll see you again very soon.